Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the live stream for Alabama Pickers. We're going to be sharing some information with you guys about what I've sold on eBay, and I want to first start by saying welcome everybody. Welcome to Retirement is Underrated. He said life has been keeping him busy. So I hope that you are doing okay tonight, Tim, and hope that everything is good with you and with your family, and that you guys are still working toward getting moved to South Carolina or North Carolina, whichever one. I can't remember. No, it's South Carolina. That's what. And CG, welcome to the live stream, CG. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you on here, my friend. And Tim says he hopes his video works for the stream. He had problems a couple weeks ago. Can you see me and hear me today? So I don't know what the problem was a couple weeks ago when you were on the live stream with my retirement channel, but for some reason you couldn't see me or hear me. All you saw was a black screen from my understanding. So good, you can see and hear me now. That is wonderful. I am so glad. CG says, "Hi Sam, I hope that you, Tigger, and the beard are doing well." Yes, are you happy that I grew the beard back? I had to. I just had to. You know, I can't let Tim and you be the only ones, hanging out with a beard. And this time I'm going to get it longer. I'm going to let it grow longer. Before I was kind of keeping it trimmed back, but this time I'm going to let it grow longer. Not sure what happened. I'm not sure what happened either. The beard is definitely iconic. Thank you for that compliment, CG. Now, you guys, I'm going to do something just a little bit different. Since this is a reselling channel, it's called Alabama Pickers, I get to talk about all my reselling adventures. So I'm real excited to share with you guys what I'm doing with my eBay store, but I'm going to start off this live stream by finishing up a couple of drafts that I started earlier. Tim says he posted some full lengths and shorts. Love the beard. Yeah, the beard is back, and it's back to stay. And I'm going to get it long. I want to get it longer. I don't know if I'll get it as long as yours, CG, or yours, Tim. I know you guys have big fluffy beards. CG's is actually the longest beard that I know of. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it that long, but I'm certainly going to let it grow as long as I can get it, and it still look, like I'm not from the hills of Tennessee. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to add my. This is a draft I was working on. This is a stroboscope. Oh, Badlands Bandit. Welcome, Badlands. He says, "Good evening, Sam, and hello, Alabama Pickers Nation. Hope you all are doing well. Pick on and prosper." I love that. I love that saying, Badlands. Okay, so I'm going to finish this listing. I've already cropped this one out, so I'm going to go to the next picture. This is a stroboscope, and I went ahead and took a video. I'll show you guys the video. See, you can't see the bulb actually lighting up because of the fact that it's a strobe light, and the camera doesn't pick it up. Doesn't actually pick up the bulb, it only picks up the flash. So I put that on there to demonstrate that it's working. But I've got to crop these other pictures out so that I can get this thing listed. I picked this up at a yard sale a couple weeks ago for $1. And so it's been sitting in my death pile, and so I had to get it listed. And now I'm just, I've already taken the pictures, took those earlier. And so now all I have to do is just crop the pictures like this. So you have to, not only do you have to crop the pictures, but you have to kind of orientate it so it's not like upside down or sideways. So the picture looks, where like they worthy of looking at. So you get to see a little bit of the process here. There are several aspects when it comes to listing on eBay. You have to find the item. You can find it around your house, you can find it on the side of the road, or you can find it at a yard sale, flea market, thrift store, wherever you can find it, and at a decent price. You want to make sure you find it at a decent price, because you want to be able to make a little bit of profit. You can't make profit if you don't find it at a good price. So that is the goal, is to find it at a good price and sell it at a good price. So that last picture, I had mistakenly taken it. I didn't realize I actually took that picture. So I'm going to go back. When I'm done cropping all of these pictures, I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete that picture. But getting back to the processes of selling on eBay, first you have to find the item, like I said. Then you have to list the item. So you list the item first. You have to research it, find out what it's worth before you can list it. And then once you know what a good price is that you can list it for and still be able to sell it and make a profit, then you go ahead and you take photographs of your item like I did here, and then you list it. So I'm going to get rid of that picture because it's a duplicate, and I'm going to get rid of this one because it's got my hand in it. And then I have the item description. See, it's a Amscan Xenon strobe light, and I put works great, original box, disco party DJ. I need to put new in here also, just so that they will know that this is new. New in box. Okay, so it wouldn't let me put the in box in it, so I just put new on there. So actually I could put NIB, which stands for new in box. New NIB, new in box. And then I go through and make sure everything's in here that I need to have. Country of origin, they make us put the country of origin now since there's tariffs. And the country of origin is, a lot of times, it's China. I'm really shocked at how often the items that people list on eBay, buy and sell in our economy are made in China. That's really interesting, if I do say so myself. So I got one more draft. See, these are my drafts here. So I've got one more draft that I need to post. And it's this laser tag setup. This is for playing laser tag. It's got 2 harnesses that go on your chest. I bought this at the thrift store for $5. There's the video. Somebody had sold this on eBay and listed it as something you can wear on your bicycle to keep you from getting hit while you're riding down the street on your bicycle. So that's those. Now I'm going to crop these pictures out, and I'll tell you how much I listed it for. Since there's 2 of these, and I want to try to get the strap in there so that they can see that there is a strap and that the strap is in good condition. So I want to get that picture in there to show that there is a strap. And also I have it on, so they don't even have to watch the video to know that it works, because the light is on the device. Also, one other thing that I do when I sell items that require batteries, I don't ship them with batteries, because batteries have weight. They're expensive to ship because they're heavier. They make your item heavier. So I never send batteries with items that I am listing. I always put in the description that this item is batteries are not included, so that there is no expectations when they get the item that that it's going to have batteries in it, and that I'm going to supply the batteries. So I save the money on shipping by not including batteries. That is what I call an eBay seller tip. So there's the blue one. We already did the red one. See how quick and easy it is once you get the draft completed? All you got to do is just go through and crop out the pictures. But I take all my pictures on my cell phone that I use for my listings. I take all of my pictures on the cell phone, actually the same cell phone that I am on right now, that you're watching me on, is what I took these pictures with just maybe 30 minutes ago when I was drafting these listings. And a lot of times, that's a pro tip about the batteries, but another pro tip with these listings is find one that's already been made, that's already sold, and then you can copy that listing, and you can just put the photos and your price, and that's all you have to do. But you see it says tested and working, batteries not included, sharper image, laser tag, blaster, vest, red and blue, tested. No gun. So there's no gun with this, and the price of it is $30. And it was made in China also. I have to put that in there. And now I can list it. So you got to see me list 2 items tonight. Now what I do is I go back to my eBay, to the selling page. I go to my listings, and I go to all my active listings. And then I go to filters, and I promote the items that I just listed. See, I went to promoted listings and then see results. And these are some items. Actually, I listed this one yesterday. I don't know why it's just now showing up. Sometimes it takes a few minutes for it to come up. But I go to sell it faster, promote, and then I promote my listings at the general dynamic ad rate. I have found that if I don't promote my listings, I have difficulty making sales. So I promote my listings, and I also, let me go to marketing. Let me show you my discounts. I also give a 10% discount on all active listings. So 10% discount on every listing I have. So this started on July the 13th, and it will end August the 27th. And that's another thing. If I don't have that 10% discount on there, then sometimes I don't get sales. So Badlands Bandit is talking to Tim, so they're saying hi to each other. I hope you guys are going to enjoy this new way of doing things where I'm talking about my sales on this channel instead of the other channel. Of course, this channel is not monetized yet. You know, I don't even have 100 subscribers on this channel yet, but it is growing, and I hope at some point it will be. So when I do a live stream, I don't make any money, so you probably won't see any commercials on these live streams like you will on my retirement channel, because that channel is monetized. So if you look over here at my sales, let me see if you can see that. You can see that I have, in the last 31 days, had $4,896.57 in sales. Now, my sales have been really not doing well in the last 30 days compared to previous months. It is making a comeback though, but you can see the 90-day total is at $10,536.16, whereas normally my 90-day total is at around $15,000, because I average about $5,000 a month. But the months of April and May, I'm sorry, May and June were really slow months. They were creeping on, and so I didn't have that many sales, or as many sales as I'm used to, I should say that. I did have sales, I just didn't have as many as I'm used to. So let's go to my active listings, and you should be able to see the listings that I just did. Wait, let me go back again. I have to go through this way for you guys to see everything. I have to go to my store, see my store. That's what I have to go to for you guys to see everything. So here are the listings that I did today. You just saw me do this one, the laser tag vests and the strobe light. So I had videos on those two. I did not have videos on this Bucky's beaver. This is a Halloween vampire bat beaver. That's a big mouthful, isn't it? And he was new with tags, so he got listed for $30. Now the 10% off has not kicked in yet for these, because I just listed them. It usually takes a couple hours before the 10% off kicks in. But I listed this Build-A-Bear Rainbow Panda for $25, and it has its original bag there. Got that at the thrift store for $5. No, actually I got that for 50 cents because it was in the plush bin, and also got this Bucky's beaver in the same plush bin for 50 cents on Saturday. Found these trail cams at the at another thrift store, and they were listed. There were 4 of them. They were $5 a piece, and so I have 2 of this kind, and I have 2 more of different kinds, and I don't know if the other 2 work, but I did test these 2, and so I know that they work, and so I've got them listed for $45 each. And then this Mickey Mouse plush was also in the 50-cent bin. So let's go to my sold items so you guys can see what I sold. Let me go back and check with you guys and see if y'all have been chatting any. CG says, I hope that the channel keeps growing. I do too. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Keith says, I ran into this yesterday getting items ready to ship. 1 pound, 3 ounces, USPS wanted $9.39, and I just changed it to 3 pounds, and it said $6.33. Have you seen that yet? eBay made me change my return policy. 30-day return. Yeah. Okay, so to address, hey, and welcome Keith to the live stream. I hope you're doing well, and I hope that you're out finding a lot of good stuff in the local area. If y'all don't know, Keith is local to the Montgomery and Prattville area. I have actually run into him out at the yard sales in Prattville. I think it was Prattville I ran into you one day. And so I have met him, and he is a local reseller here in the Montgomery and Prattville area. So to get back to your question about the USPS, that's been a point of contention for a lot of the big YouTube resale channels. They're talking about how the Postal Service has gone to higher rates for lower weights, and that people are upweighing their items or putting incorrect weights on their items so that they can get cheaper rates. And as far as I'm concerned, I've just kind of ignored all that. I know that that is a thing, and that you you definitely do get better rates for lower weight items. And I don't think that the Postal Service really thought that thing through when they started doing that, but that's what they're doing now. So, we just have to deal with it. But what I do is I'm not really going to pay that much attention to the difference, because I usually make a little bit on my shipping anyway from the buyer, because they're paying for the shipping, and then and I usually put it up a little bit higher weight. So I don't know if that's going to affect. Now that I think about that, if I put it up at a higher weight, then they're going to pay less in shipping, and I'm not going and I'm going to be paying more in shipping. So I'll probably be losing money. But I have not really seen that big of a difference as far as my packages go. They usually stay pretty much where they've always been, and I usually make a few dollars on items. So, there you go. And the 30-day return thing, I don't think that's on everything that you have. I think it's only on certain items, because I've had to change my return policy on some items, but not all the items to 30 days. It's just certain items, and I'm not sure exactly what those items are, but I have had to change some of the items in my eBay store. So Keith says he keeps it to 1 ounce, or 1 ounce, 1 to 3 ounces. Okay. So let's look at some of the items that sold. Now today I've had a pretty good sales day. I sold 2 items. Usually I sell more, but actually I sold 6 items, because this was actually, he ordered 5 of these hats at $10 a piece. So these hats are some hats that I picked up at a yard sale way back, maybe about a year and a half ago. I bought about 30 of these hats. And so I have them listed for 5 at a time. I'm not going to put them all out there 30, but he wanted to buy all 5 of them that were listed. And so they were listed at $11.50 a piece after the discount. And then I reduced it to 10, because he wanted to see if he could get a little better deal. So I did. I reduced it to $10 per hat. So he bought all 5 of them for $50, and then paid the shipping. And I only got maybe $1, maybe 50 cents actually, come to think of it, not even 50 cents in each hat. So so that's pretty good profit. $10 per hat, sold 5 of the hats, so that's $50 plus shipping. He paid $14 in shipping. And this is something that I had regretted purchasing. This is a set of shoulder pads for youth football. I picked these up years ago, probably 3 years ago. I won't ever do that again. I won't buy these shoulder pads again, but I did buy these, and they've been in my inventory for a while. And I think I paid $5 for them. It's been maybe 3 years since I bought them. And the lady was local, and she did a local pickup, so she just paid for the cost of the item, which was $40.50. So I won't be buying those again. I always do well with these vintage alarm clocks. alarm clock radios. I always do pretty good with these. I pick these up at the thrift stores, and sometimes I find them at yard sales, but I never pay more than $5 for one of these. And so, but every time I see one, they're usually anywhere between $2, $3, and $5. The most I've seen them for, in yard sales and stuff is $5. And this one sold for $34.20 plus shipping. And of course, I put a video with it to demonstrate that it works.
That's 800. What do you have to lose? Call 800-615-7541.
So I recommend that if you're going to sell any electronic that, you have to plug in or you have to demonstrate that it works, you need to put a little video in there so that your customers can see that your item is actually working. Okay, so the next item that I sold was a PlayStation 2. This is one of my biggest sellers recently. I'm selling a lot of these bundles. So this is what I do. I buy these. Most of these PlayStation 2s have been in my inventory for a little while because I'll buy them off of eBay, and then I will repair them. A lot of these PlayStation 2s that I had were ones that didn't have any power. So I go on eBay and I look for PlayStation 2s without power, and that's one of the easiest fixes that I have ever been able to do. But it's just a matter of changing one little capacitor and you have it working perfectly. But recently I have really sold a lot of these PlayStation 2 bundles. I'm selling for $139 it's actually $155, but with the 10% off, it's $139.50 for the bundle. Apparently that is a good price currently for eBay, and so I have been selling a lot of these bundles lately. A couple months ago, the big thing that everybody wanted was the NES game consoles bundles, and but they haven't been going after those too much recently. Keith, thank you for the comment. He says, I've learned so much from your channel. Thank you, Mr. Sam. Thank you so much for that comment. That's very kind. I appreciate those kind of comments and kind words. That's very, very nice and uplifting and encouraging. This picture came from an estate sale that I just happened to run up on. This is the last of, I had 5 of these, and these are TV guide illustrations from 1971. When I saw these in the estate sale, I knew that they had some value because I'd never seen any of them before, and this is original art from 1971. This was actually the cover art for TV Guide during that time. And so I guess they're highly sought after. I sold 2 of these to one person for $150 each. And this is the last one. This one is the least amount that anyone's paid for one. Usually I sold them for $150 or $140, but this one sold for $135. I have $7 in this picture, and the other ones I had 12 in 2 of them, and then 7 apiece in the other 2. So not very much into these, and I've already made like almost $1,000 off of them. So you just got to keep your eyes open when you're at an estate sale or when you're somewhere that you see an item and you're like, this is unique. You know, sometimes you have to just trust your gut instinct, and that's what I did. And it turned out to be correct. This is something that I've had in my eBay store for some time now. This is a ballast. You know, sometimes you do sell the mundane. This came from the Adullam House thrift store. It was in the little bin that they have where they have the electronic stuff. It was there were a couple of them, and this was the last one that I had left. So these sold for about $2, and so I got $19.80 for it. It was listed at $22, but I put it at 10% off. And it finally sold. It's been sitting in my store for some time. This Nintendogs Lab and Friends DS cartridge only, sold for $13.50. I believe this was in a bulk buy that I did when I was out in Pennsylvania. I bought a whole box full of DS games. There's probably 150 to 200 DS games. Some of them were in their cases and some were not in their cases. Surprisingly, you know, people are still buying these Nintendo DS cartridges, and they still love them. Maybe it's nostalgic from when they were younger. I don't know, but they are still buying them. And the next item I sold here, this is July 24th. So those were the 25th. I had those 3 sales: the picture, the ballast, and the Nintendo on the 25th. And on the 4th, I sold a PlayStation 3. Now this PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 2 I had already taken to my flea market booth to be sold in the flea market booth. And so I had to go back. I had to go back on Saturday morning after I was done going yard selling and stuff. I went back on Saturday. And by the way, since Saturday was not a real big purchase day, there were only like 6 yard sales in Prattville, and I didn't buy a single thing from any of those yard sales. I did find a couple yard sales here in Montgomery, and so I did find a couple of items here in Montgomery in those couple yard sales that I found. But pretty much Prattville was a bust this weekend, and I just got lucky and found a couple of yard sales in Montgomery, 2 yard sales to be exact, and picked up a handful of items, but nothing spectacular. That's why I didn't do a video for my haul video on Saturday, because most of the items I got was from those 2 yard sales and from the thrift store. Nothing really majorly exciting. So I did sell this PlayStation 3. This was on a Facebook Marketplace pickup that I did. I paid $40 for this and the controller, and it sold for $139. So I am finding stuff on Facebook Marketplace. And this is the bundle. It's got the controller. It's an OEM controller with a HDMI cable, a power cable, and the OMI cable for the controller. OEM controller, I'm sorry, for the PlayStation 3. So that sold on the 24th. That was the only item that sold on the 24th. 23rd, I sold, let's see, 1, 2, 3 items. I sold this puzzle. It was a Christmas Story movie puzzle, 1,000 pieces. It sold for $17.99. I got this at a yard sale for $1. So it's not a big sale, but you know, $1 into almost $18. That's not bad. This Instant Pot came from a yard sale too, so this was a really good purchase. I bought this brand new in the packaging. The woman had $60 on it at the yard sale. I asked her if she would take $40 for it, and she reluctantly agreed. She didn't want to take $40 for it, but I went ahead and I got her to talk down to 40. It's still in its original packaging, never been opened. It's a Mickey Mouse classic electric pressure cooker, sealed Disney Instant Pot. And so it sold for $153, which was a pretty good sale. I was pretty happy with that. And I sold this backpack. It's a 3-compartment backpack. I keep backpacks in my inventory. They're slow sellers. Sometimes they'll sit around for a little while, but if you've got a place to store them, they're really good bread and butter item. You know, you can pay $5 for this in a yard sale. I never pay more than $5 for any backpack in a yard sale. And this one sold for $31.49. I don't think I even had $5 into this one. I probably paid about 2.5. But it's got the headphone thing built into it, so it's made to carry a laptop. And when you're doing your descriptions for these type things, these backpacks, you want to make sure you put these keywords in here: backpack, camping, hiking, laptop. And then if it's a clean backpack, you don't want to put it if it's not clean. You want to put in there that it's clean and that it has a really nice appearance. And they're real easy to ship too. I mean, you can just fold them and put them into a box and seal your box up and you're good to go. Sold this Disney Princess Light. Now, this one has a little bit of a story to it. A friend of Carol's called her and said, hey, we finished our yard sale. We got a bunch of stuff left. Can you and your husband just come and get it all? And so we did. There was a whole bunch of toys, a lot of toys, and I still have a lot of those remaining that I still haven't listed. And this is one of those things that I just procrastinate about listing, but it actually turns out that it's a good item. I just, because of my procrastination, just let money sit there, have nothing into it, period. Not one penny into it. And it sold for $40.50. Of course, I put a video with this to kind of show the buyer how it works, that it does work. I can't keep that on too long because it'll probably give me a copyright strike. But it's got these different, it rotates and it's got these different princesses. But when I saw this thing was $40, I was like, man, what have I been doing procrastinating getting that thing listed? It was a good sale, and I had no money into it, so I wasn't going to lose anything by listing it. And this item right here has been in my inventory for, I know, 3 years. This is a snow cone maker. Apparently people got too hot this summer. But I've had this in my inventory. I do remember picking this up at a yard sale for $5. It's been almost 4 years now since I've had this thing. And that's way back when I first started selling on eBay, back when I still had less than 100 items in my eBay store. But this thing, it was like in new condition, and it sold for $49.50, $49.49 actually, and I had it listed for $54.99, but it did sell for $49.49 and shipping, so it was a pretty good sale. I can't complain about it. So I sold this Disney Raya and the Last Dragon. It's a light up. I'm sure that CG Anime can tell us a little bit about this. He probably is familiar with the movie this thing came from. But this is one of those Jack's toys. It was a pretty. It looks small in the picture, but this thing was as wide as my hand, and I mean as long as my hand. So it was about 13 inches long. Sold for $13.50. I think this came in that group of toys that the woman asked us to get for free. I've been selling a lot of stuff in my store that has been in my store for a long time. And one of the ways that you can tell how long something's been in your store is looking at the background. For me anyway, I don't know about you. You may be using the same background that you've used all along, and it hasn't changed any, so it doesn't make any difference. But this photograph was taken on the desk where my computer sits now. Of course, there's no free space on the top of the desk to take pictures now. But that tells you exactly how long, or on average, how long this thing has been in my store. It's been in my store for going on 4 years. Very long time. Bad buy. But I just let it sit, and I didn't reduce the amount that I was asking for it, and it finally did sell for $40. So there is hope for everything. There is a buyer for everything. And so this one had to sit quite a while to be sold, but it sold, and I'm very thankful for it. I think I had about $3 into that one. And another Sony PlayStation 2 bundle sold for $139.50 on July 21st. Now this one is a Sony Smart Blu-ray Wi-Fi 3D DVD player, HDMI. It plays Blu-rays, and it was on sale 10% off for $31.49. The buyer sent me an offer. This is one of the things that you have to deal with as a reseller. So the buyer sent me an offer for $20. And so I accepted the offer because it has been sitting in my store for quite some time. And so I accepted the offer for $20 plus shipping, and I sent it on. Then I get a message from the buyer. Let me see if I can pull up the message. So the buyer, I think they were fishing for a discount. Good morning. We opened the box and found that the player has several. Can you see that? We opened the box and found that the player has several deep scratches and the chip on the front. The logo has multiple deep scratches that were not visible in the listing. We chose this item because it appeared to be in good cosmetic condition. Items in similar condition typically sell for around $36, including postage. Could you please advise on how you would like to resolve this? Don't you love those kind of messages? Thank you. Basically what I told them is, my opinion is that this person is fishing for a refund, not a complete refund, but maybe a partial refund. They already got it for 20 bucks. I put, you may return the item if you aren't satisfied with its condition. So I'm not playing games with people about, that are just, in my opinion, fishing for discounts when they've already had discounts. So I'm gonna correct myself. They didn't pay $20. They paid $27 for it, and then $19 in shipping. So turned out that their total was $49.85. They paid $3.80 tax, and the transaction fee was $5.06. My shipping label cost $8.02. So you see, I made a little bit of money. I made $11 on shipping, and then there was an ad fee of $4.49. So even though the price that they paid was $27 for the item, when I got all the fees and the shipping taken out, I still made $28 on the item. So I made $1 more than what it was listed for. That's how you do it and still make money. Let's see. Let me catch up on the comments. Invisible River, welcome to the live stream. I see you made it. Thank you. Good to have you on here. Hope you're having a good day. Keith says hello to Invisible, and everyone's saying hello to Invisible. CG says Ray and the Last Dragon is an animated Disney film from 2021. Keith says, I need ideas for picture backgrounds. My suggestion is just to stick with white. Good old white. White background always works. I don't put any pictures in my background. Invisible, look at what other folks use. And Keith says, right now I'm use dog pee pads. I have a photo studio or photo booth here in my office. That's my original one that I set up, and I just put it. For anyone who's familiar with bathrooms, you know they have this stuff that you can put on the walls of the shower. That's like a plastic coated thing. That's what I had on the bottom and the front. And then when I started taking pictures, it got kind of dirty and mangled. So I found at one yard sale, I found these sheets of this paper that doctors use at the doctor's offices. You know, they roll it out for you to get onto when you get up on the bench at the doctor's office. So I found a bunch of those, and I used some of them for packing paper, which it was a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I should have held on to them. But I've got several more rolls still left. So what I'll do when one gets dirty, I'll just pull off another one and put it down on top, and then I've got a new white surface. So it works pretty good. It looks really clean, and I don't have to worry about it. Once it gets old and dirty and torn and all that stuff, then I can just pull out another one and put it down, and that's my background, all white. And for my other listing station that I have, I've actually shown that on my videos before, but the other listing station I have is at the house where I have an Airbnb that I've never used as an Airbnb. I've just been listing and stuff there. But it's two pieces of poster board. One is for the back and one is for the bottom, and it's just sitting on a what do you call those things? What are those boxes that you put at the end of the bed that you keep your clothes and your blankets and all that extra stuff in? Anyway, it's one of those boxes that's about a little more than knee high, and so it's actually a perfect height for me to sit on a stool, take pictures and all that. I like that little setup there, and it's really convenient. Invisible says, I just save the listing, then I get offers all the time. Well, whatever looks cool. Makes a good trivia question and answer. Blue masking tape looks cool too. And Keith says, I may try that. On a scope for coins is nice. Okay, so Invisible says he was distracted setting up the cat's data center. CG says, Sisu is the title dragon and Rhea is the last dragon. Okay. Hope chest, that's what it was. Thank you. I'm glad that you knew. Invisible says Amazon sells the big 400 watt sided solar panels too for $500. Yeah. I think I can get solar panels cheaper than that, don't you? So sticking with the video game stuff, I did sell a copy of Doom, PlayStation 4, and it sold for, this was, I bought in a bulk buy where I was buying a console and a bunch of video games with it. This was actually on one of my haul videos. So I bought PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and bunch of games at one yard sale, and I paid about $125 for all of it. And so this was one of the games that was in that lot, and it sold for $22.50. Not bad. And then I sold an Xbox One in its original box. So let me get back. Got a little ahead of myself. So I sold this Xbox One in its original box. I had a lot of people. This is a Xbox One S. It's all digital. That means it has no disk drive in it. You know, a lot of video game companies are now announcing that they're like PlayStation in 2028. They're supposed to be going to all digital, and they're not going to make any more physical media, and they're getting a lot of backlash about that. People are not happy, but you see there's no disk drive on this this Xbox One S. It's just a digital console, and that's what a lot of people are going to now. This is a 1 terabyte edition, so that means that you can hold more than one game in it. But it sold for $148.50. So these are more desirable, apparently, than the Xbox One S with the drive. I actually picked up one of those today. I stopped at a pawn shop to see what their prices were on their video game consoles, because that is also a place where I have found some decent priced video game consoles. So I stopped at this place, and I looked at their video games. They had some PlayStation 5s for around the 350 mark, and they had one that she told me she would let me have it for $285. I was like, I don't think so. I'm not going to pay retail because I can't make any money that way. But as I was walking out of there, I saw this guy pulling some stuff out and putting it on his trunk. And one of the items that he had on his trunk was a 1S, just like this, except it had the disk drive in it. So I asked him what he wanted for it. He said $50. And then I got it. And it also came with a really good controller, too. A special controller that's got the keys on the underside of it. I don't know what they're called. But I know it's more valuable than a regular controller. But anyway, he said he didn't have the cord for it. And so I said, well, since you don't have the cord or HDMI cord or the power cord, would you take 40? He said, yeah. So he took 40, and I got that item today. Just out looking around for stuff. I sold this vintage Spencer's Gift dome light. It's one of those lights that has the lightning bolts that come out of it. And so I thought it was pretty cool when I got it. I thought, well, if I don't sell it, I'll probably keep it myself. I think it's pretty cool. But you can see on the original price tag there, it sold at Spencer's for $29.49. It was in its original box, and it was actually new. Still had plastic on it and everything, but this is the video I took of it. I think that helped sell it. Pretty cool item. I picked this up at a yard sale for $5. You see it still has the plastic on it, so it's practically brand new. I don't think they really used it. But I picked it up for $5 and sold it for $54. And I sold this Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monster video game for $31.50. And honestly, I cannot tell you where I got this. I can't imagine that I had very much into it though. But it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game for PlayStation 2, and it was complete in the box. Sold for $31.50. I probably didn't have more than $5 into that. So this was one of my biggest sales of recent. Now I picked this up on Facebook Marketplace. This is a Sony PlayStation 3, but this is not just any Sony PlayStation 3. This is a backward compatible. That means it plays PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3 games. These are highly sought after, very desirable. I paid $100 for this on Facebook Marketplace, and it sold for $436.50 plus shipping. So the shipping, let's see if we can, the shipping was $62.60. So let's go to the order details, see how much I made on this. So the buyer paid $436.50 and $99.10 in shipping, and then $42.85 in sales tax. So they've got $578.45 into this. So I had sales tax of $42.85, transaction fees of $71.84. I paid $23.56 for the shipping label, and my ad fee was $57.85. So I earned on that sale $382.35. Take $100 out for the purchase, and I got $282.35 out of that sale. Not bad. So that is all my sales since the last time I went over my sales. Invisible says free shipping is the giant ones. And that's great price to get set up with a Xbox. Plasma. Fourth state of matter. And Invisible says you're a professional player. CG says Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really popular. It's been a series of cards and an anime. I have seen too much, but what I have seen is cool. Haven't seen too much. Yeah, so those are the items that I've sold since the last time that I did a live stream, which was last Saturday night. Keith says, what a great purchase. What a flipper. Yeah. You just have to keep your eyes open. And Keith, I don't know if you do any buying and selling of video games and video game consoles, but that's kind of my favorite thing to get into. And you kind of take a risk when you buy electronics because they may or may not work. Even when they say that they work, sometimes they don't. So you have to be real careful when you get them. But one thing that I do is, since I do have a van that is equipped with power, is I will often do my pickups with the van. I'll take the van, it's got a TV in it because it's set up as a camper, and I'll plug it up to the TV and power it on and see if it actually works. And if it works, then I will, pay them what they're asking for it. If it doesn't work, then the price will diminish greatly, and hopefully I can get a really good deal. And if nothing else, I can use it for parts, or I can, it might be something that I can even repair myself, because that is one thing that I like to do. I even, as some of you already know, I have another channel And I have 3 channels now. So I have this one for reselling. I have Uncle Sam's Retro Gaming for my video game console repair. And then I have my regular channel, which is Retire Inspired. So yeah, those are my 3 channels. So when I buy something that needs repair that I have the ability to repair, then that makes content for that channel. So I do have a couple of consoles where I will be doing some repairs on that channel, and one of those things I'm going to be doing is HDMI swap. I bought let me show you the purchase that I made on eBay. I bought 3 of the let me go to my purchase items. I bought 3 of the Xbox One S consoles for parts of repair. And I do get some of the items that I buy for resale off of eBay. Like, for example, this PlayStation 2 console here. I got this in the mail today. I bought it for $15.50 plus shipping, so I've got about $35 into it with shipping. And basically it's parts only, so I went to plug it in today when I got it in the mail, and it doesn't have any power. That's one of the easiest fixes that you can do. So I'll be fixing that, and that's going to be a new video that I'll be posting on my Uncle Sam's Retro Gaming channel. So I was going to show you. I also bought this Game Boy lot. There's 5 games were included with this. It says parts or repair. When I got this in the mail today, I put batteries in it and popped a game in, and it worked. So there's nothing wrong with it. The screen's fine. The Game Boy is in great condition. I paid $61 for the Game Boy plus shipping, and so I think I could probably make about $125 off of it once I sell it. But this was the one, the lot of 3 Xbox One S. It says untested. This is where they get you right here. See, it says unknown if they work or not. They may still work. So I got hooked. This one is actually a blue one, and it did not have a base. See, there's no bottom cover for it. So I'll have to put a bottom cover with it on one that I have. But I'm going to have to change the HDMI ports out on each of these. The consoles themselves appear to be working, but the HDMI ports are not. There's no picture, and I know one of them is broken because I can see that it's broken. So you're not doing the video game consoles, okay? But anyway, those are a couple of the things that I'm going to be doing future videos on my Uncle Sam's Retro Gaming channel. So I hope you guys can check that channel out and subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, go to that channel and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when I put a video out. Nice to have your own power source, absolutely, in my van. And you're forming a Magnolia network like them house flippers did, yeah. But guys, I'm going to have to let you guys go. My hour is up and I have to go. I've got other things I've got to get doing. I've got to meet somebody to cut up a tree. But I'm going to call it a night for tonight, and I will see you guys next Monday night, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And Tim says he subscribed to them all. I appreciate that, Tim. And you guys come back and see me next week. And take care. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.